Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me tonight, Monday again, for another installment of Insights with Alicia. I'm super excited for tonight because we're going to talk about animals and energy. And I don't know, I love animals. Oh, you changed the name to Kate. Oh, that's awesome. All right, you figured out. That is great. I was thinking I had a second person here, except they were in the same spot as you. Perfect. That's awesome. So as I was saying, Insights with Alicia tonight, Monday. As usual, the reason we are getting together is because I was led by the universe to start chatting and start talking about things and sharing and teaching. And we do that every Monday night for about 30 minutes. And for those of you who don't know, I am an intuitive life coach, intuitive mentor, animal consultant, psychic medium, and my passion is helping people and animals. For those of you who are joining us on Facebook, I won't be able to see your comments and the messaging. So if you would like to chat with us in the chat box, please join by the Zoom link, and then I'll be able to see it. I'm just a one-woman show here, so I can only see so many places with just my one computer screen. And join us through Zoom. All righty. As I said last week, and this week is when I started this is week 4. I have made it to week 4. You will have all joined in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the original awareness from the universe was to do it for 4 weeks. And since this is week 4 and I still have lots of ideas and things that I want to chat about, the Insights with Alicia will be ongoing. Woohoo! So I'll meet you back here next Monday and we'll talk about something else. And all right, so we got everyone recordings on. Hopefully you have something good to drink tonight. I have iced green tea, which actually did not turn out as good as I had hoped. Normally I really like iced green tea. This might be the brand. It's not that good. And I have a massive jug of it to drink because, in Phoenix, you make a jug of sun tea and it lasts a while. Hopefully you have something tastier, and it just helps me because I talk a lot for this. Okay. I know there was other stuff that I was going to say, but I'm just too excited to talk about the animals tonight. I don't know, stuff may pop in later. Okay, animals. And I'm super excited because the geek side of me, the geek science part of me gets to come out tonight. And for those of you who aren't familiar, I used to be a wildlife biologist, and I loved being a wildlife biologist. It's what I wanted to do my whole life, even since I was a little kid. And I was very fortunate to be able to do what I loved. Not everybody gets a chance to create that. And now for the second career of my life, I get to do my business now, which I absolutely love. And this is why I refer to myself as an animal consultant versus an animal communicator, because not only do I speak to your animals intuitively, but I also have a science education and a lifetime of real world experience that I get to use to contribute to you and your animal. You get the whole package. It's a very unique skill. I consider it one of my superpowers. All right, type in the chat what your favorite animal is if you're here. I know one of the people that's joining us, I know what hers is. Hers is the same as mine. We both love elephants. And I got an early birthday present recently, and a very, very dear friend, I try not to cry, gifted me with adopting an elephant through the World Wildlife Fund. And I got a stuffed elephant that was promptly named Sherlock, which fits him wonderfully. And he's actually sitting right over here with us this evening. So elephants are my favorite. Pip, as everyone knows, right? My cat, he is my whole world. He's joining us as well. And I get to tell stories tonight too, because I like that part, and everybody likes to hear my animal stories, what do they say? So one of them is that I was actually very fortunate to work with elephants in my career. I interned at the Cincinnati Zoo when I was in college, and it was a free contact zoo. There's not too many of those left, if any, in the US. And what that means is that you got to go in with them. A lot of zoos or places that have elephants, there's always the bars. You're never hanging out with the elephants. Free contact is, was just hanging out with your dogs. I was out in the yard with 4 elephants all the time. And one of our elephants back then, you gotta remember this was quite a few years ago, you could actually rent her to go for elephant rides. So you could rent her, and then we would bring her to you, and we would do an elephant ride. So you group event, and I think back then it was like $1,000. I can't even imagine if they still did it, which I know they don't at the Cincinnati Zoo, what it would be today. but the one that we would take, her name was Mai Tai. Loved her dearly. She was an amazing, amazing elephant. And the key is that she didn't like to ride in the back of the truck by herself. And so someone always had to ride in the back with her, because if you didn't, she would throw bales of hay out onto the road, which the other drivers did not appreciate. Someone always had to ride in the back with her. Plus, she'd always rock the truck also, which is not good when a 10,000-pound animal is rocking the truck, especially when you're trying to go under an overpass. And she was just so much fun. And I remember one night, it was late, we were coming back, and I fell asleep in the back, as I often did. And I woke up and her trunk was actually wrapped all the way around me, and she was asleep also. And so I got to go to sleep and be snuggled by an elephant. And luckily she didn't have any bad dreams, because that would have not ended well for me. Elephants have estimated 100,000 muscles in their trunk. So that, worked out pretty good. And yeah, I have such, as a biologist and the things that I've gotten to do in my career, I was so fortunate to see animals and have experiences that I know many people on this planet don't get to do and never had the chance. And I'm so grateful for the things that I got to see and do. And it was pretty cool, because my entire career for being a biologist was all with threatened and endangered species. And it's just funny how the universe brings us what we want. I didn't plan it that way. I never picked jobs based on that. It just is how it happened. And I remember after I got my first job out of college, I was talking to one of the TAs from one of my classes, and she was going on and on about how it was really rare to work with threatened and endangered species. Nobody ever gets to do that. And I just thought to myself, we'll see. I was young, I was naive. And like I said, my whole career ended up being that way. And the trick was, and I didn't know this, that I was unattached, right? We all know that unattached part is really critical piece of manifesting. I was just young and happy that I was getting to do what I finally wanted to do after I graduated. And I didn't know about the unattached part. But as you can see, it works out really well when you don't, try and control the how things show up. Not that I ever do that. Ever. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who tries to do that. All right, so tonight, right now, we're going to talk about animals and energy. Energy is a universal language. It really is. And animals sorry, my computer popped up with some weird stuff. Yes, energy is a universal language. Animals are masters of energy. And everything living feels energy. I won't get into the energetics of non-living things tonight. That's for a different night. It's a bigger discussion. And feeling energy isn't a psychic thing. A lot of people, they just sort of have that idea that, oh, you can only feel energy if you're psychic or if you're an empath. And there's even some confusion between feeling energy and being an empath. People think it's the same thing, and it's not. So like I said, every living creature feels energy. Being an empath is when you can feel other people's emotions. So it's a different category. You can be psychic, intuitive without being an empath. I happen to be both. It's just one of the ways that my gift shows up, but you absolutely can be psychic and not be an empath. And separately, everybody feels energy. We've all had that experience, right? Where you walk in a room and the vibes and you're like, oh, it feels a little weird in here. Or you meet someone and the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, or you're like, oh, I really like this person. That's all energy. And some people, depending on your beliefs or your development, they understand what's happening, and other people don't. And it doesn't matter. It's just that everybody feels it. Why animals really are the masters of energy is because in the wild, their life literally depends on it, right? Because they want to stay alive. Energy is the foundation, and then behavior is what manifests from it. I'm going to say that again. So energy is the foundation, and then that manifests into behavior. It's the same in people. For example, if I'm going to a meetup, right? I'm going to a group event. I will read the energy of a room, and I will be like, oh, I want to talk to that person, or nope, not that person. Nope, not that. No, I don't want to do that activity. Yes, I want to do that. And so what's happening is then my behavior comes from that reading of the energy. And like I said, everybody does this. A lot of people do it unconsciously and they don't even realize what they're doing. So if I see someone that I'm like, yes, they're an energetic match. I want to talk to them. The behavior then is that I walk over and I start talking to them. If someone isn't an energetic match, the behavior then looks like I stay where I am. I don't go over and talk to them. You see how the behavior is the second level from the reading of the energy? The behavior manifests from what's going on. And this is really one of the reasons why equine therapy is so effective, because prey animals are acutely aware of everything that is around them because they're always at risk of being eaten, right? So prey animals are things like our hoofed mammals, right? So horses, deer, that whole world, as well as things like bunnies and squirrels, and our predators, right? Our lions, tigers, wolves, the bigger carnivores. And prey animals have just they read humans' energy at such a finite level. And so things like equine therapy, prey animals mirror your energy back to you in a just amazing, complete way. So one of the examples of this is I used to have horses. And when I was married, we had a mare. We bred her twice and had 2 boys out of her. And the first one that was born, his name was Riverwind. He was amazing. And we had some challenges, not gonna lie. And this was all way before I even knew, that I knew that I talked to animals, because I was born with this ability. So for me, it was always just part of how I functioned in the world. And honestly, this is a funny story, is that I thought it was a wildlife biologist thing. Like, I thought all biologists talk to animals because we're a pretty introverted group. We like hanging out in the woods. We don't talk a lot. So when I realized that that wasn't true, I was like, you're not talking to the bear? Oh, all right, that's fine. So it was pretty interesting, but I never had sort of this direct consciousness about it, that that's what I did. It just was how I functioned. And the energy education came later. So I didn't have this part, and this was years and years and years, geez, 20 years ago. So he was an amazing horse, but he was what they call a left brain extrovert. There's categories of horses, and he was a left brain extrovert. And he was a little insecure, and he was a real spooky horse, right? Horses that just, like a white plastic bag is like the death of every horse out there. It's the biggest predator that's around. And what was happening is, when my ex-husband was deployed to Iraq for the first time, right? We were in the middle of buying a house. He was gone. I was still working full time. I was trying to train a 2-year-old horse, plus build everything at the house, because the house wasn't set up for horse property. There was no stalls. There was no plumbing. There was no electrical, all in the backyard, nothing. And I was building all of that, as well as I had another horse baby on the way, plus the commute. I had, a pretty high stress level at the time. And there were so many things that I was just trying to get done. There wasn't enough hours in the day. And in the summertime here in Phoenix, right, it's hot. So we put our horses in their stalls during the day so that they're in the shade. And then we let them out at night to run around and act all crazy. So every morning, same routine, I'd get up, ready, go get to, ready to go to work, go out, feed the horses, bring them in from the arena, put them in their stalls. And it never failed that on my really rough mornings, on the days where I was like really worried about my ex-husband because I hadn't heard from him and I didn't know, right? Back then we just didn't know, because couldn't pick up the phone and call him. And there was some rough days. And it never, like I said, it never failed on those days, as the days River would really act up. And those are the days that he literally tried to kill me. And I'm not exaggerating. He would run into me. He would try and knock me down. He would rear. He would do everything he could to get me away from him, and to, basically get rid of me. The reason, and I would be like, seriously, like I'm standing there crying in the backyard, right? I'm exhausted. I'm worried. My horse is acting obnoxious. I'm just trying to get him to his food so he's safe in his stall. And I would be like, why do you pick these days to pick on me? Do you have to add to the situation? Well, but here's the thing. Prey animals, like I was talking about, particularly herd prey animals, so ungulates, right, are hoofed mammals. They are called herds. When there is a member of their herd that is sick or weak, it attracts predators. So they don't want those members around the herd. And on those particular days, my vibration was really low, right? I was not feeling good. I was super worried. For River, who's already a little, extra sensitive and insecure, all he sees is, oh, you're going to attract the wolves. Oh, you're going to attract the lions. That's just his DNA and his instincts. So he's like, you need to get away from me because you are not safe. It wasn't personal. It wasn't like, oh, I'm mad at my mom today, that kind of stuff. It was instinct. And, I know that now, but on those mornings, there was some crying. So at that point, you can see it's an example of he wasn't reading my behavior because my behavior was the same. Like it was the same routine every morning. So the behavior never changed, but he was very, very clearly reading my energy. And that's why animals are such masters at this. And particularly like I was talking about the equine therapy, because when people go to equine therapy for trauma, PTSD, those types of things, their vibration, right, is all over the place, their behavior, their emotions, their energy. And like I said, horses mimic that because they're prey animals. And as the people heal, as the human heals some of the trauma, their vibration changes, their energy changes, the horse will then match that. And the human can see the progress that they're making. So it's this really cool thing that allows the human to see the progress that they're making. And because you get to work with an animal, right? It's so much better. It just, when you do therapy with an animal, it has a different effect on a human than a human to human. So the second example I have of how animals feel energy is my other horse, Firebolt. Firebolt was what they call a left brain introvert, right? Him and I were a perfect match. That's exactly what I am. And he wasn't a spooky horse at all. He was always into something, taking something apart because he was so incredibly smart. He's like one of those little kids, right? That's super smart and they're always into something. And you come home and it's like, oh, they've taken apart, half of the refrigerator because they have all of this energy and all of this intellect that they want to do something with. So with Firebolt, oh, he was so much fun. Apparently, I have a look that I give when I'm very serious about something, and it scares some of my friends. It's basically the Samuel L. Jackson look. It's pretty funny here. I want to show you a picture. I'm going to share my screen and then see if I can find it. It's this look. Hopefully that's showing up on the recording and in the Zoom, minus the wife beater tank top. But I have this look and it cracks me up because my one eyebrow gets involved as well, kind of like a Vulcan Samuel L. Jackson look that I have. And it's just so funny because I am not a confrontational person at all. Like that's why this is so hysterical, but I have this look and it comes from having horses. I don't know if I had it always in my life or when I was younger. I'd have to ask my mom, but it's pretty funny. So where this look comes into play is when Firebolt was at the other end of the arena and about to do something ridiculous, as horses do. Now you got in mind, like he's really far away from me. My little human legs are not going to reach him in time, but that look and the energy behind that look will definitely reach him. And it's this look, right? You're giving it and what you're thinking and what you're usually saying is, no, don't even think about it. Don't, stop it, stop it, stop it. No, you get a long nose, right? Like, no, stop it. And this continues until he either makes a decision to stop being ridiculous or I reach him. And he was such a fun horse. He was so incredibly smart and he was just hysterical. I laughed constantly with him, is that he would mess with me. Like he knows the look. He sees me coming and he would be like, oh, you don't want me to put my leg in there? Are you sure? And he'd be looking right at me. And he's like, this leg? No. And then he'd be like, oh, well, what about this leg? Should I put this leg? Try and put it through the bars? And he was just so funny because one, I knew that he probably couldn't because I had the place pretty well baby proofed because like I said, he took stuff apart. So by the time he was there, after a couple of months, everything was locked down. River used to take the spigot knobs off, so I had to fence those off. But he knew, and he would just mess with me. And then I'd get to him and he'd smile, that bratty horse smile, and just come over to me. And he just made me laugh so much. And the truth is that I do love bratty animals. I just do. Does it always serve me to be an advantage for me? No, but I love them. And bratty animals are not for beginners. I have some animal clients that they end up with some, particularly usually cats, and they're like, I don't, and I was like, yeah, he's just really smart and really mischievous. And so that's not a match for every family out there. These are two examples of how animals read energy. Now just imagine every species of animal out there that does this. Even think about two dogs meeting each other, right? You got two people walking their dogs or going down the street. Now, even before these animals, these two dogs are demonstrating any behaviors, they're reading each other's energy. So even before you're looking for the tail wag, even before you're looking to see where the, the head position of your dog is, these two dogs are reading each other's energy. And then when they get close to each other, right, to where they can interact with each other, we all know what two dogs do when they meet up, right? They're at opposite ends. And so here's the thing, they're not able to see the other's face. So it's not like they're reading the behavior of the situation, they're reading the energy, and they're checking each other's energy throughout the whole interaction. And then you see it manifest in their behavior. You see the tail wag or the tail go down, or, they start making noises. So it's just another example of how animals read energy, and the behavior is secondary to that. I can take a drink here. I'm so excited to be able to talk science and animals at the same time. I don't get to have very many of these conversations anymore. And particularly now that I know this energy part, it makes me want to talk to other biologists, or particularly the ones that study animal behavior, and be like, what if we went a little level deeper? They might think I'm weird. It's not unusual. Okay, so now I'm going to answer the main question that I get asked all of the time, not even from my clients, just from whenever someone finds out what I do. We're going to do a little exercise here. And for those of you who aren't with us live right now and you're watching the replay in the video, I invite you to do this exercise also, because it's going to have a bigger effect and you're going to gather so much more knowledge than if you just listen to it. So see, one of the people on here, she's saying that she brought a tenant into her home and he stayed 3 years based solely on his encounter reaction exchange with her dogs. She trusted her dogs that much. And I can validate that because her dogs are amazing. They're the cutest, sweetest little boys in the whole world. And they still make me laugh to this day. And she was amazing that knowing, she knew her dogs so well and loved them so much. They had such a great relationship, all three of them, that she knew that she could trust what they were telling her. I love stories like that. I do the same with Pip, but he's been traumatized by people, so he doesn't really like anyone. But you still pay attention. Okay, now we're going to answer that question. Everybody, take a big, deep breath. Everyone take a second. Big, deep breath. Okay, so now think about loving on your pet and how great that is, right? Feel into that, relax into the squishiness or the feathers or the scales or, whatever they have, and just breathe into that. Yes, this is the best ever. Now, think about taking them to the vet. You see that right there? Did you feel that? Now, for some of you, that's a great experience. So your vibration goes up and it has a different effect. For the rest of us out there who maybe don't have the best experience at the vet, I guarantee you there's animals right now in the world going, what the fuck just happened? Do I need to get under the couch? Do I need to get behind the couch? Do I need to run under the bed? Am I going to the vet? Do I need to run away? What happened in your body, so that place where you contracted, that place where maybe you held your breath, that place where you went to your brain of oh, remembering the last time that you went to the vet, they feel that. So remember the examples I gave of how finitely animals feel energy. When you do that, they feel it. That is how they know when you are taking them to the vet. Because when you think about it, the energy in your body changes and they know. They don't even have to be in the same room. It's crazy how this happened. If anyone can relate to that or have any thoughts or feedback, pop it in the chat there. Like I said, if you are watching me on Facebook, I'm not able to see your comments on the Facebook, so please join by the Zoom, and then you can put the comments in here. And because it's just so amazing. And so now we're going to do another one. Everybody take a big deep breath, right? Get over the trauma of remembering the last time you went to the vet. Big deep breath. Now, this is going to be sort of a little easier for people who have dogs, but if you do any of these activities with your other animal family members, bird, cat, have at it. Let's take a big deep breath. Now think of taking your dog to the dog park, or think of taking them on a walk, right? You feel how that feels expansive and it feels fun, and that feels good. So that's a change in your body too. Now I guarantee you there's dogs somewhere going, oh, am I going on a walk? Like there is a dog like going to sit at the leash or at the front door right now. And they don't understand why you're not standing there with them. Because they're like, no, I felt the walk energy. Like it went through the house and we're doing this. So it's just amazing how animals do that. Another example is, so like Pip, right? My kitty, he gets wet food. So he gets supplements, which is why he gets wet food. And he gets fed different time in the evening. Like I don't have a set feeding time for him. We've had a whole discussion about the whole wet food and how if he starts to behave like a maniac, no more wet food. I'll do another video about that someday. But the second that I'm in the kitchen, and I could be doing dishes, I could be making my own dinner, but the second I look at his little containers of supplements that I'm going to scoop out, he is sitting next to me in the kitchen meowing. Like I said, I haven't touched his plate. I haven't looked at him, haven't done anything. All I've done is look at the supplements and think, oh, I need to feed him. And he is right there. That is how amazing this stuff is. And people are like, oh, animals aren't psychic. And that may not be a psychic thing. It's an energy thing. He knows because my vibration changed a little bit when I had that thought. So this is just so cool. And I love this stuff because it really shows how animals are the master of energy, right? So one of the people here, she's saying her dogs always knew when they were going on a road trip or on a trip, even before she grabbed her suitcase, they just knew. Yeah, because you feel different when you're doing something out of the normal pattern. It's just the coolest thing. The next piece we're going to talk about is, now that you're aware of how much animals read energy, we are going to talk about how our interaction with them plays a role and paying attention to our energy. It's one of the things that I worked on with the human half of my animal clients. Our animals want us to be healthy and happy, and they will take on our energy to make that happen, even if it makes them sick. This isn't what we want. And when we're super stressed, or if there's a lot of chaos in the house, this has an effect on them, just like it would people that are there, or, kids. And this isn't anything for us to feel bad about. It's just something to pay attention to and something to be aware of. They are our partners in this relationship. And so for me, when Pip gets really sick, he has an autoimmune sort of thing, but when he gets really, really sick, I stop and I pay attention and ask, where has my energy been lately? Because a lot of times when he gets really sick, he's taking some of my stuff. So if I've been worrying, if I've been really stressed, if I haven't been mindful of certain things, he'll take that on. And so then I have a conversation with him. Yes, verbally. You do not have to be psychic to do this. And I tell him, you know what? I'm going to be okay. This is going to be okay. It's not your job to heal me. I appreciate your love and support, and I'm going to be fine, and I'm going to take care of you. And then I start taking care of myself better. I start being mindful of where my energy and thoughts and emotions are. Like, maybe I haven't been grounded. Maybe I've been stressing. And he's a great measuring stick that lets me know if something is happening with me that I haven't been paying attention to, or something that I've missed. And not his job. It's fun. He also lets me know when there's entities in the house, but that's a conversation for another time. So that is, oh, yes. Just some of the comments in the chat here. He was an amazing dog. So, crash course in how animals function with energy. I hope that you have enjoyed this and maybe even learned something. This was super fun for me. Hopefully I'm going to, you know, do more animal ones as well as the pupil talks that I do on here on Monday nights. And as always, if you know someone who can benefit from this information, please share this video, like it on YouTube, subscribe, however you can get it to other people. And if you want to know more about your animal or anything that's going on there, book a session with me. I would love to have a chat with all of you. And okay, so that's all for this evening. Thank you for showing up and let me tell my animal stories. It's so much fun. We will be here again next Monday. And so now for the informational part of this video. As always, the links are in the event listing. If, like I said, if you want to share people with it, share this video with people, it's on YouTube under my regular name, Alicia Sweezer, not Who Knew Healing. Massive thank you to all of the people who have donated to my cosmic tip jar. It allows me to continue to do these things and practice receiving. I'm just super, super appreciative. Thank you so much. If anyone feels led to do so, link is in the event. If you're not already a member of my meetup, please join. You'll get to see all the activities that I have planned. And as always, if something I talked about tonight or any other night or any other time makes you want to go, or I want to change that, then book a session. Come see me. Let's see what we can create together. Thank you all so much for joining me. Until next Monday. Thank you. Cheers.